Ladies and gentlemen, this is real life math. Now, yesterday we took things that we've already known and we applied new things to it. Now, cards on the table. I know most of you had talked about and were aware of positive and negative numbers before we started talking yesterday. It's hard not to live in our world without understanding positives and negatives. Now, with that being said, most of today, like I said, we're focusing only on real world, but you probably know all of this already. You just don't necessarily know the words, the vocabulary, the math language that mathematicians speak, and I'm going to expect you to speak. So ladies and gentlemen, you just don't know the vocabulary. Now, off to the side, I've got a little bit of a flow chart going on. Now, this flow chart is taking ideas that you've already learned, and I'm kind of putting them into a chart so that you understand how numbers work. So we have real numbers, okay? Now, real numbers are numbers that exist that represent something physical. Technically, if we wanted to be very confusing and jumping ahead a couple of years, we would have this connected to an irrational number or an unreal number. And what's going to happen is, like, when you get into higher grades, that's what we've got. You don't need to worry about that till like sophomore year or anything, though. So, oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So right now, we're just building off of and taking what we've already got established, and we're making it into a layout so we can understand it. Now, we've dealt with rational numbers and irrational numbers before, even if you've not necessarily understood it. So when we're talking irrational numbers, once again, it's a little bit older, but if you guys have ever heard of pi, maybe in March, we have Pi Day. Pi is an irrational number. It's not something that we can represent with fractions. But you don't need to worry about that for later. So what you do need to worry about now is the idea of fractions and integers. Now, give me a thumbs up in chat if you've ever heard of a fraction. And if I don't see thumbs up from everybody, I may cry a little bit. Thank you, Josue. All right, good. You guys know fractions, which means you've been in school for at least 3rd grade. Good. So the other idea of fractions we're going to be talking about is an integer. Has anybody ever heard the word integer before today? Got a couple of shakes, got a couple of no's, got a couple of yeses. Interesting. Okay, good. So today, your word that you need to make sure you understand is an integer. Now, when we look at our flow chart, we see that integer splits off into 3 different groups. We have negative whole numbers, we have positive whole numbers, and we have the number 0. Once again, 0, really important number. Still making the argument it's the most important number that we've got. Okay, so negatives, positives, and zeros. So what you need to know for your quiz, okay, yes, quiz, I said that word, okay. What you need to know for your assignments is that we have 3 sets that we can use and qualify as an integer. So your counting numbers, ones that you learned back in kindergarten, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc., right? Those are integers. They are the positive whole numbers. Okay? If I'm like, yo, Josue, show me with your fingers how old you are. Do it real quick. You're missing one, right? But you know, that's a positive whole number. There we go. Good thinking, Josue. That is a positive whole number. Integer. Now, if I was to say a decimal or a fraction, are decimals and fractions whole numbers? Give me thumbs up, thumbs down in chat. Is the decimal a whole number? If I say 2.5, is that a whole number? Here's a simple check. Are you ready? I want you guys to count right now. Count at home. 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did I say 2.5? Did you say 2.5? If you said 2.5, we need to go back to kindergarten because I don't think you counted right. Okay. The whole numbers are the only ones that we're going to count. So 2.5 does not get counted, so it's not a whole number. And we know that because we have 2 wholes and then half of a third. Same thing with fractions. 2/7 is not counted anywhere. So we have all of our whole numbers. And we talked yesterday about the idea that we've got negative whole numbers, right? Negative whole numbers, so the opposites, -1, -2, -3, -4, are also considered an integer, and our magic number is 0. So 3 things qualify as an integer. That's really important, and I keep stressing it and saying it because it's on the quiz. Rip headphone users, I'm sorry. Now, Mr. Lentz, you said we weren't going to talk math and we were going to talk real world math all day long. Well, guess what? Here's the real world math. We've used integers all the time. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to roll the dice. I want to roll 2 dice. My number is 6. All right, so we're going to come back here. We're going to look at number 6. We're going to look at 20 units to the right of 0 on a number line. We are looking for an integer that is going to be used to represent 20 units to the right of 0. Well, let's think back. I want everybody to type this in chat right now. Don't press enter. Type your answer in chat. Don't press enter. 20 units to the right of 0. So let's stop and think real quick. Units to the right of 0. Does that mean positive or negative? Hold on. I'm thinking. 20 units to the right means I've taken 20 steps. So what's the number that I'm on? I'm thinking. Look at the answer that you typed in chat. It has to be an integer, which means it has to be a positive whole number, a negative whole number, or 0. If your answer is one of those, press enter now. Type your answer in chat. Let's see if we can get an integer for number 6. Josue, you could just type in chat too, man. I'm seeing lots of right answers. Now, I want to call attention right now to Nevaeh's answer versus everybody else's answer. And I'm not saying this because I think anybody's wrong. I'm saying this because I want to know what's a better answer. What's the difference between saying positive 20 and 20? Is there a difference? Honestly, no. There's not. When we just see 20, as mathematicians, we are going to assume that it's a positive number. Okay? Now, and this is where a lot of you were getting questions wrong yesterday. Is there a difference between the 20 and negative 20? Yes. We can, like when we're using the negative sign, we explicitly have to type the negative sign. We do not assume that there's a negative sign there. Okay? When in doubt, put your signs for both. If you don't remember which one you're allowed to and which one you're not allowed to, put positive, put negative. Okay? What do we put for 0? I mean, you guys are right. You write 0, but do we need to put a positive sign or a negative sign? Which one do we need to put? Ladies and gentlemen, 0 is neither positive or negative. 0 is 0.